we provide a bespoke design for the client for RiserSafe by using Trimble Tekla. That's a 3D software that's used by the main steel contractors and concrete frame contractors. So we integrate seamlessly with them. We then take on board the IFC models produced by the M&E contractors and slot them into our model, so we ensure that there's the coordination between the mechanical and electrical services and the structural frame is absolutely perfect. So on site, the main contractor gets delivered a RiserSafe unit which has holes pre-cut in them with cover lids on them. So when they want to bring the services through them, they just take the lid off and take it through the RiserSafe unit to having a completely safe system of work from day one. So our contracts managers work with the project managers on site through Trimble Connect, which is an add-on to Tekla structures. That way you can see the 3D model on your phone or on the iPad out on site, and we can demonstrate exactly where any issues are, and so you can mitigate them before they actually arrive on site. Collaboration's absolutely vital. I mean, if you don't have it, you get the situation like you have on now, where you've got just GRP, which is a dumb material put on site. You have to cut holes, you have to set out on it on site. Services get put in the wrong place. It takes time. You have to get permits for shafts. So collaboration is the key to get a product such as RiserSafe manufactured off-site. So when it's delivered on site, it's dropped in place, perfectly providing the holes for your services to go through. So the RiserSafe system is very, very simple to install in a high-rise building. For a structural steel frame, you literally lift it up and drop it into place. On a recent project with one of the main steel contractors, they installed a RiserSafe unit every 6 minutes. It's as simple as that. Similarly, with a concrete frame structure, you just lift it up and drop it on the deck and it's done. You cast it in and that's your riser protection from day one until the end of the use of the building. RiserSafe is manufactured in our factory in Welwyn Garden City, so we're a UK manufacturer, and manufacturing off-site ensures quality of build. We check it before it's sent out on the lorry, so we know that when it's installed on your project, it's right and it's perfect. So if you use a single-storey module, you can actually bring that in, let's say on level 7 up at the hoist, when the jump form's still at level 10. So you're probably bringing it in 20 weeks earlier than you would if you're using 3-storey modules. And the benefit of having the archery of the riser there in place is that when you're installing services to your soffit of your floor plates, they can come directly and connect directly to your riser. You don't have to follow up later with stall pieces, fill in fire stopping and carry on with the installation of your walls. It gives, programming wise, it gives you a line of balance program, which means you can finish every floor as you go. Whereas with a 3-storey module, the floor is finished except the final connections, but the final connections are everything. There's a need for education of main contractors because of some of the changes that have been brought on by the Building Safety Regulator. There's now on high-risk buildings, HRBs, which is any building with a residential unit in it and is over 7 floors, you have to pass gateways 2 and gateways 3. And what that means for the main contractor is if you've got a product in gateway 2, which is when the building's been designed, if you've got a product that's actually a non-combustible product specified, if you then change that during construction to a different product where you don't know its combustibility or it's combustible, it's your responsibility to make sure a change control has been gone through, which has gone back to the design team and maybe the client. They've assessed the risk of it and they've approved it, and it's recorded. That way, when it gets to gateway 3, the Building Safety Regulator will approve it and you can hand the building over. If you don't do that, you won't get your building handed over. And that's why education's key for the main contractor. Yeah, we had a recent project where RiserSafe was specified in gateway 2, and then this is 3 or 4 days after the Grenfell report's been issued, it was swapped out for a combustible product. And it's quite incredible how this actually still happens in construction. When we asked the main contractor why they'd done this, they said it was a subcontractor's proposal and it's their responsibility, so it doesn't matter to the main contractor, which is quite an incredible attitude when they know it's a combustible product. They believe the blame can be put onto the subcontractor, so they just didn't care. Now we've got gateways 2 and gateways 3, it's very clear where the responsibility lies if a change is being made, and that is with the main contractor. They have to do the change control. They cannot rely on saying a subcontractor's done this. The change control has to be managed by them and it has to go through to the relevant people, whether it's the designers or the client. The main contractor should listen to the specification, but they can always offer alternatives, but the alternatives have to fulfil the same function. If RiserSafe is specified as a non-combustible product, I have no problem if it's changed for metal grating, which isn't RiserSafe, because that's non-combustible. But if you then switch it out for a GRP grating, and all GRP is combustible, whichever one you use, whichever company, then they really need to look at why they're doing it. Are they doing it for cost? Or is it better for the project? Or is it just a saving? Is it just value engineering for the sake of it? We work in all sectors with RiserSafe. We're actually working in a naval dockyard at the moment. We work in schools, hospitals, commercial high-rise buildings and residential blocks as well. So right across the industry. Fundamentally, it's about safety, and it's whether the product specified is doing the job that it's designed to do. When RiserSafe's installed with a solid steel floor, so you've got a separation and a crash deck from floor to floor. That means you've got multiple work zones are opened up for you. You can work in the same riser you can have 10 floors of a riser and a person working on each floor of it. You can't do that with other grating systems because you're only allowed one person in the shaft at a time. We look at, obviously, the fundamental things are safety. It's got to be safe for falls and fire. For buildability and programme, we've got to be faster and efficient. And the cost, we've got to be cost effective for the main contractor, which we are. We come in 30 to 50% cheaper than other options of GRP. So ultimately, we're safer, we're faster, we're cheaper.